Hi friends, welcome to the first session of this subject, data science and visualization. Let's begin our first module, introduction to data science. It is said that the data is the new oil, but data has become a new soil today. Yes, you heard rightly. Currently, it is the most fertile medium for the development. In this subject, let's see the following five modules. In the first module, we look at introduction to data science and then explore the data and analyze the data and then look at the data science process in detail. That's in module 2. Module 3 deals with feature generation and feature selection, visualization of the data and exploration of the data is to be looked in module 4, and finally whatever we have studied in the first four modules we need to apply and confirm them, and that is done through the various plotting techniques available in the matplotlib. So that's what is in unit 5, module 5. So these are the course learning objectives, and this is a list of course outcomes we have for this subject. Now let's directly get into the action. The question is, what is data science? Data science is an interdisciplinary field used for extraction of knowledge and insights from the structured or unstructured data. So we have data, but just looking at the data means it's a group of numbers, and unless until you dig deep into that, you will not be able to understand what is it is trying to convey us. So we need to extract knowledge and insights from this data. This data may be either a structured one or unstructured one. So for doing this, we have various tools like statistics, machine learning, data analysis, and data visualization. So the data is available with us. So if you want to dig deep into the meanings from the data, we need to visualize, because the human is good at visualization, so he can understand the insight more easily through visual techniques than looking at numbers. Therefore, it is always better to put them on a visual spectrum and see what the data is trying to tell us. Once we are through it, we get some idea about what the data we have, and we can apply some techniques to analyze it. And once the analysis is done, we know what is that we want. So whatever we want, we can make our machine to learn and get the work done. In all these things, statistics plays a very important role in solving our problems. So we need to use these techniques to extract the information, knowledge, insights from the data. So that's data science. The primary goal of data science is to turn the raw data into actionable information for making informed decisions, for solving complex problems, and for discovering patterns or trends within the data. The key components in the data science are as follows: data collection from various sources. So, the data we require and is available from various sources, maybe primary source, secondary source. It may be available in various databases spread across the world, or it may be available from the sensors we are using, may be available from the social media and many other sources. So, because we are getting data from various sources, it is not guaranteed that all the sources will be giving us data as per our requirement. Therefore, it's not necessary that the data available will be the perfectly well suited to solve our problem. So, whatever data is available, we somehow make sure to use it to get our work done. So, for that, our next step will be to clean the data. If the data is having any missing or inconsistent values, we must ensure that either solve the problem of adding the missing data or any other thing, and look at anything, any data is not consistent with the rest of that, then we need to do something. So there are various techniques for handling missing or inconsistent values in the data. Then we, as we said, we are using the data from various sources. The sources, different data from with different sources may have different formats and all that. So we need to transform this data into a suitable format so that everything becomes uniform and it will be easier for us to continue using these data. And then finally preparing this data for analysis. The next step is exploratory data analysis. In short, we call it EDA. Here, we investigate and visualize the data to identify the patterns, trends, and the relationships. Is one of the important tasks which is done at the beginning of data science sequence. Here, we understand what the data is consisting of, and then we can understand which component of the data is useful for solving our problem, which component of the problem is not useful, and all that. And once we realize some part of that part data is not useful, we can eliminate so that our processing can be speeded up, the memory required can be reduced, and all that. So overall efficiency can be improved by doing such activities. And the next one is applying the statistical analysis. So here various statistical methods are available to draw inferences, validate the assumptions, and quantify uncertainties in the data. So we are dealing with the big data. So definitely we are talking about millions of data, and each data may have some hundreds of parameters. So if you look at it, it's a very huge to work with. So when it is very huge to work with, just dealing with the numbers is not possible. It is better to infer through some statistical methods, and these statistical components or parameters are very much useful in differentiating the two data sets, or to identifying whether the data set is of a particular type or not, and all many other issues. So here statistical analysis plays a major role in our data science activities. Next is machine learning. Here we are utilizing various algorithms and models to build predictive or classification systems to uncover hidden patterns and to automate the decision processes. The problem with big data is we have too many data, we have too many parameters for each data, and that makes a task almost impossible to solve. So if you are trying to identify any pattern within the data, it becomes almost impossible to go through all the millions of data and then try to understand what the data is trying to convey and all that. So the next option would be to use a process called machine learning, where we show this data to the machine and ask it to identify some pattern by itself. So this minimizes almost 99.9% of our load, and this whole thing is transferred to the machine, and machine will be able to understand the data, its pattern, and all that, and then can be used further for predicting the outcomes for any unknown inputs. Trying to identify hidden patterns, machine can be used for that. And then finally, once a predictive system is ready, it can be used for automatic decision making process and all that. The next key component is data visualization. So here, before getting any further with the big data, it's always better to look at the various data in various angles. So here it's better to plot them in various types, various versions, and try to understand how each data is varying, how each data is behaving in our data set, and that will help us in communicating effectively and will facilitate better understanding. So if we know the bad data in a plot version, then it will be easier to interact with each other and show that plot to another person and try to explain what the plot is talking about, instead of if you keep on showing hundreds or millions of numbers, it won't be easy for us to communicate. So it can be simplified by showing this whole thing in pictorial form. So here data visualization plays a major role in the data science process. Next comes interpretation and communication. So here translating the complex results into meaningful insights and effectively communicating findings to non-technical stakeholders. Yeah, usually our stakeholders or the customers will not be technical enough to understand all our technical jargons. So it is always better to have mm, visual aid to explain them about the results, what we are talking about the process, about the data. If you are trying to talk with your stakeholder, it's always better to work with the plot instead of a set of numbers. So here the data science and visualization key components are being presented. Let's see the next part of the video what big data is, and then continue with explaining the various parts of the data science process. Thank you.